Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Institute for Personal Development, where total consciousness is the new frontier. Kriya Yoga is the union of the individual with the divine. Join us as we explore the practices that initiate this process.
And good morning. Welcome to the Voice of Yoga. Let's talk consciousness. I am your hostess, Lisa Winton, and with me is Kenny Toy, also known as Swami Jayananda, founder of Institute for Personal Development, located here in Hampton, New Hampshire. Good morning, Swami. Thank you for being here today. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing pretty well today. How about you?
I'm doing great. And I want to thank you, listeners, for tuning in. We were just talking this morning. This is our 135th show, so welcome aboard and thank you. And today on the Voice of Yoga, we will talk about the Apotheosis and how this missing process would change world mental health. Listen as we explain the difference between survival-based motivation and growth-based motivation. Learn how the practices employed in Kriya Yoga can strengthen your psychological organs and improve your mental states. Discipline isn't repression, it is exercise for your will. So welcome to the Voice of Yoga. We are talking consciousness. Join our Kriya Yoga Spiritual Advance to get the light in your soul and experience the power of prana. So Swami, what I thought I would do first is kind of do a little bit of information on World Mental Health Day, which is celebrated every year on October 10th. And this information I'm getting from the website Win Calendar. And it says here that World Mental Health Day seeks to raise awareness of mental health illnesses while educating the population and mobilizing efforts to support mental health. Mental health, which includes a person's emotional, psychological, and social well-being, has become increasingly important in recent decades as an estimated 350 million people worldwide suffer from depression. So, Swami, 350 million people worldwide, that's a lot of people. And it said here in the beginning that they like to educate the population. So if it was up to you to educate the population, what is it that you would have to say to educate people about mental health, and how can Kriya Yoga help them?
Well, probably the biggest thing, I think, is what we said in the opening, is the whole thing of this process and development today. In earlier times, they had points of passage and they had rites of passage. So there was a developmental process that you initiated. And I really think that process is missing today. Today we're kind of pretty much left to our own devices, and we just chronologically age and psychologically, spiritually remain in this underdeveloped state. And so there is retribution. There are ramifications as a result. Survival-based motivation has a kickback from this unlived latent potential that we want to grow and become a whole person. And so without leadership, we're pretty much left to our own devices. And I think what we basically try and do today is we just keep lowering the bar, the standard to which we live to, and try and see if that will solve the problem, where in fact I really think that the real problem lies in the fact that we're not growing psychologically and spiritually, and we really don't know what good mental health really is. And just like you said, 350 million people worldwide are suffering from depression. And what's interesting sometimes is that there's absolutely nothing wrong with these people. And part of it is that because of our present lifestyle, we don't think right, we don't breathe right, we're not hydrated, the foods we eat produce cravings and disturbances, we don't exercise right, and we wonder why we can't control our behavior or our appearance. And these disciplines, these lifestyle recommendations that come out of Kriya Yoga develop willpower. They develop your psychological organ. Your mind is just like any muscle in your body. If you don't use it, it goes to mush. And so a big part of what discipline did for us collectively was it strengthened willpower. And especially today, I mean, the way things are today with instant gratification, that we don't even have to, years ago at least, you had to wait for a letter. Now a text comes in immediately. You can fax something over. Things you didn't have to develop patience. You didn't have to wait for things to happen. And so as a result, you're missing that important part in psychological development that discipline gives us. And it strengthens our psychological organs so that we can be more objective, we can be more intelligent, we can be more imaginative and creative.
Now, I know there is a difference between feeling sadness and then having this feeling of depression. So feeling sad is more like an emotion, but depression kind of takes it that one extra level. So how does one person try to get up out of that state of depression? You know, where I believe some of the symptoms of depression is, you know, wanting to sleep all day long, you know, just being very lethargic, and of course all these other things that come along with it too. What is your recommendation for somebody who knows that they're in this state of depression? How would you school them on how to get out of it?
Well, the first thing you got to try and figure out is why am I depressed? And then what you really want to try and do is you want to try and build from strength. You've got to kind of focus on what is there in your life. And I think that's where the practice of Kriya Yoga, where you start with the simple fact that I have my number one need, starts to produce an awareness of my peak experience feeling, that the universe loves me, and that I have this sense of connectedness to something that's pure, it's powerful, it's sacred. And so it starts to fuel an inner environment that has an attitude of calmness, confidence. And oftentimes a lot of us just don't have that anchor. Whereas if the availability of your next breath becomes your party, breath becomes your symbol that you use to produce the feeling that you're happy, then of course you break the inertia that can come when you're what we call not thinking right, which is oftentimes you're looking for something to make you happy, which is all part of our original state of consciousness. It's all part of what we call this survival-based motivation, that our physical bodies are basically, they live in fear. The body's going to die. It knows it's going to die, and it lives in chronic anxiety. And so as a result, it is constantly searching to know that it's okay. But the problem with the body is that it's blind